Making headlines this hour, former President Mohammad Wahid states Maldives is now capable of paying foreign debts following a successful economic agenda. Elections Commission announces it will hold the voting of the presidential election on September 23rd. And Fisheries Minister reveals there is hope that Maldives can secure a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council for the term 2019 to 2020.
Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Fatma Sara. Former President Dr. Mohammad Wahid Hassan Malik states Maldives is now capable of paying foreign debts following a successful economic agenda.
Speaking on Going Under program aired on Russia Today, former President Dr. Mohammad Wahid Hassan Malik answered questions on economic stability of Maldives and how it has advanced in the past 4 years. Slamming rumors that Maldives is impotent to pay foreign investors back, the former president expressed a time would not come of national distress due to the incapability of paying loans to China. He lauded strong economic and foreign relations Maldives has achieved in the past few years. Noting attaining loans is necessary to conduct socially beneficial projects in small nations such as Maldives, former President Wahid stated China is one such country that believes in the capacity of smaller nations.
Maldives' economy is strong. Maldives will pay its debts, and I don't think we will fall into a situation where China will be able to twist our arms because of unpaid loans. It's very difficult for small countries, not just for Maldives, but also for other developing and small countries in East Asia and Africa. But we need the development funds from somewhere. And unfortunately now UK or US are not providing that kind of development financing. And so many countries, not just Maldives, are being forced to go to China because those funds are available from China.
Regarding relations between China, India and Maldives, Dr. Wahid mentioned that Maldives is geographically located in the center of some major powers of the world, underlining the importance of discussions to solve such issues.
This is a problem facing many small countries, and I go to Singapore quite often. I think they have the same kind of difficulty, caught between big powers. But that's something, I think that heads of state from small countries need to also talk to each other.
The former president also revealed that loans from China were granted to Maldives during past presidencies, such as when former President Mohammad Nasheed was in office. However, the opposition, now led by former President Nasheed, has been critical with the close economic ties Maldives has with China.
Elections Commission of Maldives announces it will hold the voting of the presidential election on September 23rd. In a special ceremony held, the Elections Commission further revealed it will publish the voters' list for the presidential election on June 10th. Furthermore, opportunity will be opened on July 15th to submit presidential nominations. According to the Elections Commission, interested candidates can submit the presidential nominations before July 27th. The electoral body also said it will announce the eligible candidates on August 9th. Meanwhile, the Commission said opportunity to observe the election process will be granted to interested national and international parties, revealing it will also invite international bodies to observe the election. The Elections Commission are currently working on identifying locations to place ballot boxes, which is believed to increase compared to previous presidential elections. Elections Commission of Maldives states the presidential election to be held in September will be the most explicit election to be held in the Maldives. Speaking at the ceremony held to announce the date of the presidential election, President of electoral body Ahmad Sharif assured invitation to observe and monitor the election will be extended to several international parties. In this regard, Ahmad Sharif revealed invitation to observe the upcoming election will be sent to electoral bodies of 8 countries, adding opportunity will also be given to interested international media platforms to cover the election. Moreover, President of the Commission noted observing the election is commonly open for all international parties and stakeholders. Concluding his speech, he advised to respect the institution and its efforts to hold a free, fair and credible election. Elections Commission announced it will hold the voting of the presidential election on September 23rd. Minister of Fisheries and Agriculture Dr. Mohammad Shaini reveals there is hope that Maldives can secure a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council for the term 2019 to 2020. Speaking with PSM News from New York, Fisheries Minister Mohammad Shaini stated Maldives has carried out various initiatives as part of campaigning for the seat within the past 3 years. In this regard, Minister Shaini highlighted the numerous visits of presidential envoys to different countries and the discussions held with the countries. Moreover, Dr. Shaini mentioned the real challenge Maldives faces is some Maldivians conducting anti-campaigns against the country. In addition, the minister underlined the anti-campaigning of former Foreign Minister Mohammad Nassim and former Vice President Mohammad Jamil in various countries. Furthermore, Fisheries Minister emphasized securing a seat for Maldives at UNHC is a privilege for all Maldivians, adding to achieve it collective effort is crucial. To secure election for a 2-year term, a member state must receive at least 2/3 of all votes cast for the seat. The council is made up of 5 permanent members with veto power: the United States, United Kingdom, France, Russia and China, and 10 non-permanent members elected by the General Assembly on a rotating basis by geographic region. Maldives is seeking election to the UNSC for the first time since joining the United Nations, shortly after gaining independence 51 years ago. Maldives Police Service reveals the number of cases filed at the first 15 days of Ramadan has decreased compared to the previous year. According to statistics of Maldives Police Service, 596 complaints were filed during the first 15 days of Ramadan last year, while the complaints decreased to 556 in the same period of this year. Highlighting on separate cases, Maldives Police Service revealed the number of complaints received about people eating in public during fasting hours decreased, with 7 being brought into custody this year. According to statistics, 18 people were brought into custody last year for eating in public during fasting hours. Furthermore, statistics showed most number of complaints filed during the first 15 days of Ramadan was related to theft. In this regard, police attended 127 cases of theft during the same period of last year, whereas the cases decreased to 109 this year. Maldives Police Service enhances its efforts to ensure security and peace during Ramadan. Providing affordable housing for citizens has been the highest priority of the current administration. Over 100,000 housing units are going to be developed in Malé and other areas in order to realize this objective. Moreover, the government believes that the mega project here initiated by President Yamin Abdul Qayyum will bring a permanent solution for the housing crisis in the Greater Malé region.
Access to affordable housing has been a huge problem throughout the country. This is mostly seen in the Greater Malé region, which houses 1/3 of the country's population. Capital Malé is a concrete jungle with tall buildings, small houses, narrow roads and polluted atmosphere. The Malé we see today is not what we want it to be. The issue did not start today. With previous administrations paying little to no attention to the issue, the housing exploded into unfathomable proportions. However, under the leadership of President Yamin Abdul Qayyum, we saw several efforts to solve the issue, and after 4 years today, we see a completely different picture. Former administrations initiated housing schemes, however, not many were successful. The most difficult situation the current administration faced on assuming office was to restart the project from scratch and gain the confidence of Maldivian citizens. Thousands of flats and row houses were developed and provided to citizens with a short span of time. Today, reclamation of land in 14 islands have been completed and almost 600 housing units are being developed at those sites. The government has provided housing for the families that were displaced in the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami disaster. In the past 4 years, housing loans worth over $3 million were provided. The government announced a mega housing project in Hulumale to address the congestion issue in capital Male. This project is focused on the youth community. The development of 7,000 housing units under the HIA project is going at a high speed as part of Phase 2 of the Hulumale development project. 16 towers of 25 stories each will be developed under this project. The project has been contracted to China State Construction Engineering Corporation. While the foundation and pile work of the 16 towers are now completed, what remains is the structural work of the towers. Applications for the 7,000 housing units have been opened on the 6th of May. After the completion of the 7,000 housing units, another 7,000 units will be developed in Hulumale. This includes 62 towers of 15 stories each.
Throughout the years, we Maldivians have been facing a lot of difficulties in transportation, mostly in the islands. Previous administrations pledged solutions to this issue but failed to deliver results. However, upon taking office, President Abdul Qayyum addressed and delivered solutions to the issue of transportation.
During the 4 years that has passed in his tenure, President Abdul Qayyum has implemented several projects to boost the transportation sector of Maldives. Under his leadership, the main airport of Maldives, Welana International Airport, has become an internationally renowned airport. The President has plans to develop many other domestic airports as well. Some of the latest projects of his manifesto include the development of 4 airports in different areas of Maldives. Under this project, airports would be developed in Kashidu Island of Hadalu Atoll, Funadu Island of Shaviani Atoll, Mawarulu Island of Kafudalu Atoll and Nilandu Island of Fafu Atoll. President Abdul Qayyum's main objective is to provide the best transportation facilities to the residents via the development of these airports. Work is currently underway to develop airports at Kuludufushi Island of Hadalu Atoll, Funadu Island of Shaviani Atoll, Mawarulu Island of Kafudalu Atoll and Mafaru Island of Nunu Atoll. The airport being developed at the Mafaru Island of Nunu Atoll is funded by the UAE. Government expects Mafaru Airport, which boasts a 2,200-meter runway, to be completed next month. Under this project, a passenger terminal, a VIP terminal and jet parking facilities will be integrated into the airport design. The development of airports at Kuludufushi Island of Hadalu Atoll, Funadu Island of Shaviani Atoll and Mawarulu Island of Kafudalu Atoll have been contracted to Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC. 9 hectares of land has been already reclaimed for the development of the airport at Kuludufushi Island. The project would also see a 1,200-meter long runway developed at the airport. 21 hectares of land has been reclaimed for the development of the airport at Funadu Island of Shaviani Atoll. MTCC says that the subgrade preparation for the construction of the 1,200-meter runway to be developed at the airport is almost complete and that work is progressing on schedule. MTCC states that subgrading work is underway at the airport being developed on Mawaru Island of Kafudalu Atoll. MTCC forecasts that the construction of airports at Mawarulu Island of Kafudalu Atoll, Kuludufushi Island of Hadalu Atoll, Funadu Island of Shaviani Atoll will be completed by August. The government has also contracted Island Aviation Services Limited to develop an airport in Fanu Island of Ra Atoll. The mega project includes the development of a city hotel as well. Other projects in the pipeline include the development of airports at Horufushi Island of Ha Alif Atoll and Farismathura Island of Kafudalu Atoll. All these projects have been contracted to MTCC as well. Government aims to develop more domestic airports before the project, which is currently underway to develop Velana International Airport, comes to a close. With the completion of these projects, the current administration of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum would be the only administration in the country's history that has taken measures to ease the transportation woes of the Maldivian citizens.
China says its Belt and Road Initiative has brought hope and development to nations along the routes.
A spokesman for Ministry of Commerce of China, Gao Feng, refuted allegations the initiative has worsened some debt-burdened countries. Gao said since it was proposed, the Belt and Road Initiative has been spoken highly of by the international community and received wide acceptance by many countries. He said the initiative gives a primary role to enterprises and follows the rules of market operation, and the major role of governments lies in creating good environment for investment and business. The spokesman said statistics show Chinese companies has built 75 economic and trade cooperative zones and invested an accumulated $25.5 billion in countries along the routes of the initiative. In addition, these Chinese companies have paid nearly $1.7 billion in taxes and helped create nearly 220,000 jobs in the host countries. He said the Belt and Road Initiative has brought to countries engaged hope and development. The Belt and Road Initiative, first proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping in 2013, refers to the building of a Silk Road economic belt and a 21st century maritime Silk Road. The initiative is to promote policy coordination, connectivity of facilities, unimpeded trade, financial integration, and closer people-to-people ties between China and the countries along the routes.
Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. He has warned this.
At the meeting in Beijing, Chinese President Xi Jinping told Russian President Vladimir Putin that no matter what fluctuations there are in the international situation, China and Russia have always firmly taken the development of relations as a priority direction. Underscoring China's close ties with Russia, Xi is likely to award Putin the country's first friendship medal later on Friday. Putin is on a state visit to China and is due to take part in a summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) this weekend. Jointly led by Russia and China, the SCO was launched in 2001 to combat radical Islam and other security concerns in their own countries and across Central Asia.
The Saudi Arabian national football team is going into its final World Cup warm-up game against Germany with high hopes.
Saudi Arabia have won 2 of their 4 friendlies over the last month and could prove to give the reigning World Cup champions a hard time. The team could also have an advantage in that Germany will be playing without midfielder Mesut Ozil so that he can recover from a minor knee injury. The 2014 World Cup winner Ozil has had to deal with a barrage of criticism in Germany after he was pictured with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan. Ozil, who is of Turkish descent, caused a furore in Germany last month after photos taken in London showed him and Germany teammate Ilkay Gundogan beaming while they presented Erdogan with shirts from their Premier League clubs Arsenal and Manchester United.
Ocean's 8, which boasts a stellar ensemble cast, is expected to top the box office for the weekend ending June 10th, knocking solo A Star Wars Story into second place.
According to The Hollywood Reporter, the spin-off that stars Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Helena Bonham Carter and Rihanna is expected to take in the region of $35 million to $45 million. Ocean's 8 sees Bullock play Debbie Ocean, the estranged sister of Denny Ocean, played by George Clooney in the trio of Ocean's movies.
Easy, fellas. Everybody's gonna get fixed up.
Other releases this weekend include action genre flick Hotel Artemis, which stars Jodie Foster, Dave Bautista, Jeff Goldblum and Sterling K. Brown, and the well-reviewed supernatural horror movie Hereditary. Both of those films are expected to take between $6 million and $8 million on their debuts. As far as holdovers go, Solo, A Star Wars Story and Deadpool 2 are expected to perform the strongest with takes in the region of $14 million and $12 million respectively.
Well, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more updates of recent current affairs stories here on PSM News. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.